There's a particular message Spirit World has been wanting me to record all day long. So today is Thursday, March 27th, 2025. It has been a very busy day, a lot going on. Like today is like a transformational explosion happening in the air. All of the transformational synapses are connecting. It is such an amazing day, such a beautiful day. In the middle of all of this, there's this one theme. Spirit World's like, we really want you to talk about this and release it on Friday morning. A lot of people need to hear it, and we all need to come together as community to celebrate this. So here's the message. The message is that this week, earlier in the week, I was doing a remote video read for a woman. And when I do remote video reads, I usually don't read the text until right when I sit down to do it, because that's when I tend to get like, boom, the impact of the energy, and boom, I can feel spirit team come in. So I usually I confirm to people that I get the text, the questions that they're sending me. And then I don't really read it until I'm ready to open it up and do the reading. And that's what I did with this woman. And so I sit down and I get in space and I'm tuning in with the team, and I'm open, right now I'm looking at my computer. I'm sitting like I would be doing one of those readings, and I'm looking at the computer, and I open up and I got my reading glasses on, and I'm like, chicky, and I'm looking at the text, and I'm reading through it. And she is saying she shares this most vulnerable thing about how when the election happened, she had this reaction, this triggered reaction of she was like, Dana, I either wanted to move to Canada or commit suicide. And I was like, wow, that is a really raw, honest answer. And I can identify with that, because when this whole thing went down, I started going through my options, and I was like, well, I can always have a cyanide pill in the back for back. I literally had a thought like that. And then, and then I kind of pull myself up and okay, what are we going to do here? We got to be rational people. And in my background, I have grandparents who lived through World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, the Spanish influenza, and then they raised kids who went through the whole civil rights movement and that whole upheaval in Vietnam War. And so in my background, I've got some ancestral roots that lived through some stuff. And so I pulled up those grandparents, and I'm like, you got to help get me through this, because this is some gnarly stuff we're going to be living through, right? Well, so that's what I did. But this woman, she very vulnerably told me about the two choices that she felt she had. She told me about these two choices that were the only two choices she thought she had at that moment. And then she said, you know what happened, Dana? Not too much later, it was within a couple of days, not too much later, she discovered the spiritual community. And I don't know if it was on Witch Talk or YouTube, but she discovered the spiritual community, and she said, I started watching some of these videos, and I started listening to what all you ladies were talking about. And I started leaning in, and she's like, even though things were bad, I started feeling better. I started feeling like I had some emotional options. And so what she said to me was, she's like, you all literally saved my life. You saved my life. And I know it wasn't just me. It was all of us. And so this is me on a Friday. We're still in the middle of this mess, right? And what I want to say to all of you in the spiritual community, all of you on Witch Talk, all of you especially who are creators digitally or analog, doesn't matter. All of us who are creating this community, I want you to know that we are saving lives. We truly are at this point. There's a very strong likelihood we are pulling people back from the abyss, back from the edge, and we are saying, you are valuable and you have something to live for, and we have more emotional choices than we think we do at this point. And so I just want to hold that up. I want to hold that up, and I want to amplify it, and I want to say, look at what we're doing. We are helping to keep one another alive. We are helping to keep one another afloat. We are pulling people off of the line and saying, come on, we got some better stuff to do here. And we are building better vision, better options, better emotion, better energy. And it's through that we are going to get through this together. So I just want to give that as a shout out. And I know it's not easy right now, and I know it's not fun, but we're doing the types of things right now that our greatest generation grandparents in that realm, it's what they had to do. And we are finding that way in whole new ways. Like we're doing it differently than how they did it. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's very, very cool. And we need to take stock of that today and look at the value that we're providing and look at how we are helping to keep things afloat right now, whether we know it or not. So that's what I've got for you today. Make sure you keep walking forward to continue to meet the miracles along the way. They are there, and I will definitely see you in the next video. Mwah.